Welcome into your reading today, Capricorn Rising Signs. This reading is for all Capricorn risings that identify with the Sisterhood of the Rose and being a part of the Rose Lineage of Light. And I am here with the Marys. I have called in our connections and recently through meditation been asking the Marys to channel in wisdom messages for all of the 12 rising signs, everyone who is a part of the Sisterhood of the Rose, to help explain for us what might be unfolding, what might be going on as the energy really shifted after eclipse season. And I really feel that we as a collective energy, as the energy of the Sisterhood of the Rose, it almost feels as if we're each being shifted into our highest alignment of that expression of ourself. And so if this is resonating with you, welcome in. This is meant to be a guidance reading. And when I ask the Marys to come through, what I always will do, I'll show you here, is I use my pendulum to choose the decks. This is my pendulum. And so I'll use my pendulum. And so for each rising sign, basically, I went over all of the series of decks that I have, and I asked the Marys which decks they wanted to speak through. And they were very wordy, so I apologize in advance. This reading may be a little bit longer, but what they wanted to really kind of help us unpack is to give guidance on, from a soul's perspective, what might be shifting in your personal alignment, what your soul growth lessons are right now, what kind of area you might be working through. And then there's also some support. So we're going to get a lot about the first part of this story. And the story for you, Capricorn Rising, starts off with the Ten of Swords, which interestingly is connected into the sun in Gemini, which is currently where the sun is in Gemini. And we recently just had this Gemini new moon. And I really have been, I haven't created this video yet, but Capricorn Risings, you're getting the little tidbit first. What the Marys have been speaking to me about the energy present for that new moon, is that we're all being shifted into this space of greater heart-mind alignment, heart-mind coherence. Gemini is the sign of the twins, of duality. Venus has just gone through becoming a new Venus, or becoming a full Venus, rather. She completed a cycle that began 4 years ago when she was a new Venus in 2020, and that very recently just completed when Venus had her Kazemi moment not that long ago. And here we have, just after this new moon, here we have Mercury getting ready to have its Kazemi moment coming up shortly. And Mercury is a space often connected with our mind. It is representative of Hermes and our mental processes. And so to me, the symbology is not lost. I notice that both our heart is first going through this process of rebirth and coming into her fullest expression, right? And then now also Mercury is doing the same. And they're doing it in the sign of Gemini. So that's the reason I'm bringing this up for you, my friends, my Capricorn rising friends. So the Ten of Swords speaks to you kind of coming out from perhaps a period of exhaustion, of fatigue, deep experiences potentially of pain, or feelings of some significant destruction in your life. Someone could have betrayed you. You may have endured a bereavement or lost something that was of significant value to you, something that pertains to your identity. And so when this card appears, it's showing areas that have been draining your precious energy and your resources. And it might be indicating that what has been lost was that drain itself. It might also be indicating that the process of going through the shift for you and that experience of loss is actually currently now draining your energy. So just tune into what feels of resonance, if this feels of resonance for you. But this card is a reminder to really begin to notice your energy when you're interacting with certain people. Are you feeling uplifted and supported energetically, or is your energy sinking? Are you noticing some somatic communication within your body indicating to you if that is in alignment with your field or not in alignment with your field? And, really focusing on tuning into your own energy. What lifts you up? What is draining you? The Hierophant upside down. The shadow aspect of this could be that perhaps whatever this Ten of Swords energy is representing for you in your life, when this Hierophant upside down is coming along, it's showing you that potentially whatever was going on might have been hindering your spiritual growth. It might have been a situation where you could have been conforming. You could have been in that situation, whether it was a relationship, a job, a living environment. Perhaps you were doing something or finding yourself doing something that you were following a path you thought was the right path, but it wasn't what was really supporting you energetically or lighting you up and making you feel as if you are in your most authentic aspect of yourself. And sometimes this happens just from how we were raised or external validation of what, society or people who care about us have to say about what they think might be best for our life. But this is a card that is pointing you back into developing a deeper sense of your own foundation, your own sense of self, allowing your consciousness to open towards creating a reality for yourself, for your life that really resonates with you, that you deserve, and you finally will have, if you focus on this aspect, you will have that freedom to live life on your own terms and to not necessarily feel other people's opinions or desires for what your actions should be to be setting the tone or guiding you more than they should be, if that makes sense to you. And so the next of the major first four cards that we have here opening the story is the Seven of Wands. Beautiful card, huh? And the Seven of Wands points to Mars and Leo. So that will be happening, but it'll be later on in the summer most likely. But it speaks to judgment, jealousy, criticism that we might encounter by following our own sacred path towards enlightenment, towards living the life of our own personal dreams. And this card is a card about standing your ground, defending your dream, and staying true to what feels right to you. And sometimes it can feel like the world is against you, or there are external sources not supporting you, not assisting you, and potentially even sometimes sabotaging you. And so this card really is a reminder to keep your vision in your mind. Stay focused on your goals. Don't allow the negative opinions of others to discourage you, steer you off course in any way. Sometimes there are individuals who become threatened when other people shine their light brightly or are true to themselves. And this is a card that reminds you to keep glowing, to keep growing, to not dim your light for any other person. And despite any challenges or trials that you might face in your path right now, move forward with confidence. Know that what you're doing is you're standing up for your personal truth. And be prepared to, speak your truth if needed, to stand up, I guess, for your truth. But trust in your personal guidance system. Trust and have faith in yourself and in the universe, because you are not alone. Your guides are supporting you in your journey right now. And that is also a reminder, too, that even if you feel alone, that you are never alone, and your guides are with you, supporting you as you go. And so the last of the first final four, opening up our reading for us Capricorn's risings, is the Fool. And this is associated with the air element. So we could look to all the planets in Gemini right now. This is also associated with Uranus, who is still in Taurus, just next door to Gemini. So the Fool card represents a lot your soul's journey. And this, on the card, the energy is depicted as youthful and having a pure, innocent, carefree, childlike nature. This is an archetype of enthusiasm, of faith, of beginning a journey and having unlimited potential and what the outcome might be. It is a person on a mission to seek enlightenment through experience. Someone who is willing to move forward without fear or hesitation and effortlessly navigate their way through the world using their own intuitive knowing, their own inner guidance. And when you receive this card, it marks the beginning of a significant time in your life. So whether that has already started, which for many of you, I'm really feeling like this process has already begun. It's already underway, and you already know and are aware of what I'm talking about. But this is a sign that you are just beginning or about to embark on a brand new adventure. And this is one of the most important journeys of your lifetime. And it could present itself to you in career, in business. And what I would probably look to is, I would look in your natal chart to see what houses, both Taurus and Gemini, are showing up for you, because those might be the areas of life that are really being affected, especially since this reading is about what's kind of opened up. And that began really in Aries and then followed suit, right? It's followed into Taurus, and now it's moving all the way into Gemini as the planets move forward. And so this card is also coming with divine guidance and love. The love of the universe is by your side right now. And this card is encouraging you to trust your sacred path, to have faith in your soul's evolution, that you are being guided forward with a great purpose. And it is a time of great adventure, of boundless opportunity. So be bold, be brave, and believe in yourself, Capricorn risings. I love that. So it sounds like coming out of hardship, you're moving into something really beautiful. And so this is the first of our clarifying cards. The next deck, I should mention, so the first deck that those cards were coming from is the Ethereal Alchemist Tarot deck. And the second deck that we are using today is the Ascension with the Angels Tarot deck. And these are our clarifiers for you, Capricorn risings. And the first is the Seven of Wands. This speaks to courage. It is someone who has their resolve steeled. They're activating their courage with their own personal mandala of light. And that mandala both symbolizes and activates around them divine protection. And when you step into courage, it instantly connects you to your inner power source. That is a way that when we're moving through difficult, sometimes challenging or a little bit fearful new action steps, that it comes along with this knowing that you are not alone. And it helps to reinforce your forward momentum. Tapping into that inner courage allows source to flow through you as you, knowing that everything will fall into place when you're taking these faith-filled, guided action steps. And so it's another nudge from the universe to take that leap of faith, take that step of courage that's needed potentially to trust yourself on your path right now. So your second guidance clarification card is the Eight of Cups upside down. And this deck does not get read upside down. There's not a shadow aspect. So all that really indicates is this might be something in process. And this card symbolizes surrender and release. And it's about a person who is walking away from the emptiness of what doesn't serve them any longer. They are being drawn now instead by their intuitive knowing. And that intuition is being represented here in the card by the moon. And so when you focus on your intuition, that has this way of tuning you into your divine path. And our intuitive knowing, our intuition knows when we have finished a lesson or an experience and it's time for us to be shifting, we will feel that shift. And when we choose, which is an actual choice, an active action step that we have to take, is the action of surrendering. When we surrender into flow, into the knowing that there is a divine plan unfolding, that everything is flowing through us, and if we allow ourselves to be within that flow of the universe, then it will align us into our highest aspect of self. And our emotions are meant to help guide us. They're meant to help show us what it is we need to release that's weighing us down, and also help to show, revealing to us what will help to lift us up. And so that, again, kind of feeds into this initial card about beginning to notice what lights you up energetically, what syncs your energy, and beginning to follow the signals from your body. Our bodies have incredible guidance, incredible intuition that want to show us the path. And when we tune into the somatic knowing that's coming through, that can really strengthen our personal intuition and our personal knowing, and truly shift us into a greater sense of alignment. And so we've got the Queen of Swords next, upside down, again showing that this is maybe a process that you are in, a learning lesson of growing yourself into a greater sense of independence, personal independence. And this Queen of Swords exudes her own personal sovereignty. She is in charge of her energy. She takes her guidance from her intuition, again, being called upon by the moon. And it's through this process of self-realization that we automatically begin to become aware of our own personal power and can begin to shift into this space of choosing what frequency we wish to hold and carry, what type of energy we want to engage with or not engage with, what lights up our field, what syncs our field. And we, through our own sovereignty, can then allow ourselves to make choices based upon that. And we can build our world around us based upon our own energetic responses. And in many ways, I feel like this reading is guiding you into a process of deeply tuning into your personal intuition, your personal energy field, and allowing that to be something you nurture and nourish and let be the navigation source in your life. And so your last clarifying card here is the Sun, which represents the source. It represents the source of all that is, of divine will, of God energy, of guidance from our spirit guides, from angels. And it also represents, the Sun represents the source of life on earth, because without the Sun, nothing would be growing, nothing would be flourishing quite the way that it does. And so it's a representation of the source light that flows into all of life. And that even though we can't possibly know all the ways that the Sun makes life on earth possible, we can understand that there's this quantum element to the Sun's energy, to its lighted ray, and that the divine connections we have that are present within our heart space, present within our energetic centers, our connection that connects us into the heart of the cosmos, into the source of all that is, and then also our connection that connects us into this natural sentient world, planet Earth here that we live within, and that has this sentience, this life force energy that flows to us constantly. And it's got this quantum element that connects us into all things. And when we begin to allow this light to flow in and through our body, when you allow yourself to simply receive the nourishment of the Sun, taking it in as if it is growing you, like you were a plant growing and needing the Sun's energy to then become shifted into your highest expression, just like a plant would do. Allow the Sun to help nourish you and accept it in as flowing to you as source code energy that clears your field, that elevates you on the level of frequency into your highest vibratory expression of self. And I really, in all these readings that I've been doing, we're almost done. I have yours and 2 others to go. And so far, there's been a very massive theme that we are all undergoing this process of deeper alignment. And it's very much about working with our energy right now. And if you are at all interested in some channeled practices that will assist you in tapping into how to work with your connections as discussed by the Marys, I just recently finished a co-creation, which is a small experiential course, and it contains both channeled wisdom teachings about how to create personal energetic sovereignty, how to clear and balance all of your energetic centers within your body, how to open up your connections into a way that you can become the channel, that you become the oracle, and then also how to call in your spirit guides in your team and begin to work with them. This is called Working with Your Light, and it's available now. And it is meant to be a channeled offering to hopefully help anyone who does identify with the Sisterhood of the Rose to work with their own personal frequency. Because we're all being sort of asked to show up in different ways, but it is in a way to shine our light into this higher alignment of sharing this Rose lineage of light. And a lot of that is through our own personal work. And so from that higher soul's perspective, for you Capricorn risings, here are your soul growth cards, and these are taken from the Rose Oracle deck, which is a beautiful deck I found after I received that channeled request basically from the Mary saying I was to call myself an oracle of the rose. I'm one of many. And you too, if you identify with the Sisterhood of the Rose, you are also an oracle of the rose, just for the record. Okay, this first card is called the Breathing Rose. And it represents heart healing, emotional healing. It represents connection. And what it says here is that often healing is a slow, steady process. It's complex and not linear. It takes as long as it takes. And most of the time, that's much longer than we wish it would be. But like all things in nature, there's a mysterious intelligence to the timing. And if we trust it and surrender into that trust, and just let the vibrant petals fall to the earth, cut back what is no longer, and protect the new shoots and the buds from being pried open, we may find ourselves in a second bloom, and fruit will follow. You can't manufacture that. We must trust the great mystery in the process. The bud somehow manages to burst through the constraints by opening to life again. All nature has this intelligence within it. The challenge when we're going through a time of healing, which is another word for growth, transformation, and change, is not to close ourselves off from the world when we most want to separate and shut down, but to somehow find the courage to open through the agony, through the difficulty and the hurt. And when we feel safe enough to let life soften us, not harden us, to deepen and cradle us. This card is a card of deep heart healing. It often will come to us as a symbol of emotional healing that's in process of happening. The mending is underway. Treat yourself and your healing with compassion, understanding, and gentleness. This is a card of deep encouragement that you are doing it. Time will ease everything very soon. Well, my friends, I have full body spirit bumps for you, and my heart is going out to you for anyone who is going through a very difficult, deep transition of self. I'm sending you so much love. The second soul growth card that you were given is the crowning, and this represents an initiation. Again, thresholds, it represents birthing energy, rebirth, and having a seat at the table. There comes a time when the flower knows that it can no longer remain in the protective constraints of the bud. Somehow it needs to trust in the birthing energy and surrender to the unknown of the bloom. The same birthing energy exists within all of nature, and in birth, both physical and metaphorical, it's an initiation for the mother as well as for the child, who transitions from the water world of the womb into a whole new one on earth. This is a card of crossing thresholds and walking through gates of initiation, which requires great courage and faith. There's the courage again. There are rolling contractions, and it's almost always not straightforward. As we transition from one thing to another, we're called to burst through the constraints of the seed and the certainty of the bud so that something new can bloom from within. We are always birthing something, and deep inside we know that the only way to surrender to the initiation is to surrender to the innate power within. This power within, but it's also connected with the same intelligence within all of life. It's the same energy that tells the flowers when to bloom, and it was present when you grew in your own mother's womb. And that is what Spirit is saying for you to trust. Trust in that energy. It will carry you through. Surrender to what is wanting to be born through you. Life is always trying to initiate us even more into who we truly are. And then look at this. Your final guidance card, can you see that? I'm trying to get the camera to focus. It says the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is a mysterious, long-sought relic about which stories have been told through the ages. Some believe it holds the key to eternal life and divine union. Many devote their lives to discovering and possessing it. It features in the legends of King Arthur, the knight Galahad achieved the vision of God through the Grail. In Christian mysticism, the Grail is the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper and afterward by Joseph of Arimathea to catch blood at the crucifixion. It was taken to the Isle of Avalon and buried on Chalice Hill in Glastonbury, UK, which turned the Chalice well waters red. Pilgrims travel from all corners of the world today to drink from these healing waters. Some believe the Grail legend predates Christ and was inspired by the wells and the cauldrons of Welsh and Celtic mythology. The Holy Grail represents the ultimate spiritual quest. Many see quest as physical places to journey to conquer, or to find. But perhaps the Grail is actually an invitation to go inward, to connect inward to a holy aspect of your energetic field within, and to connect with the grace within that field when you find it. To realize that this journey of drinking from the water, so to speak, is part of a journey that will never end. We will always be on this quest to become our best version of self, potentially, since that is kind of what this reading is showing, that you are shifting into a space that you're learning to trust. And it almost seems to be pointing to the Holy Grail, which I know personally through the Rose work, that Holy Grail happens to be about uniting. There are some people who believe the Holy Grail is within our pineal gland here in the third eye, but I believe, as we kind of discussed at the beginning of this reading, that there's a heart-mind coherence that is taking place. And so this really, the intuitive message I'm getting for you, so just allow it to land however it will for you. The intuitive message I'm getting is that when you personally are learning to work with your energy, if you focus on tuning in and grounding your intuition, your third eye, into the space of your heart and your inner knowing, which is also that portal space that will access the highest magnetism in your field and access your connections into the divine, both within our earth plane and also within the cosmic field, and pull that into the space of your heart, that is what ultimately creates that higher aligned intuitive knowing, which I believe is the actual Holy Grail. It's something that you become rather than something you possess and is a tangible object, if that makes sense. And so this last card here, look how beautiful it is, and I don't know if you can read that. It's got the number 12, the stone turquoise. It's related to the earth element, and it says perseverance. And this is your guidance card, Capricorn Risings. And this is about setting intentions, finding your personal sense of serenity, and it's also about that gateway energy. Again, talking about that even though when times can get tough, it might feel like obstacles have been in your path or prevented you from achieving your goals. Your personal perseverance, which makes very much sense since this is for you Capricorn Risings, one of the best things you do is persevere. Your sense of perseverance is the key to your abundance. Setbacks are a natural form of your personal progression, and it's how you handle the unexpected events and the disappointments that happen on your journey, which is a true signifier of the achievements that you are capable of and how far you can really go in terms of your abundance energy. And so this card is offering guidance to remind you that perseverance is part of a frame of mind that you can carry, and that we can choose if we're going to remain defeated, or we can choose if we are not going to allow circumstances to become a setback. We can choose to surrender back into trust. We can call upon our connections with our intuitive knowing and our guides and open up into our own remembrance that we are able to find another way. There are other solutions that are in greater alignment for your life, for what matches your dreams and your desires of where you do want to build and want to grow. And when you surrender into that and just allow, you are remaining open versus allowing your frequency to go into that space where you're feeling defeated and feeling like there's not a possibility. And so perseverance is about maintaining stability, putting one foot in front of the other, the practicality that comes with hard work, the chopping wood, carrying water type of mentality, knowing that all of your efforts are going to pay off for you. All of your practices, everything that you're doing is going to reward you exponentially in dividends. All the personal work you're doing, anytime you're working on your energy, working to connect in with spirit, all of that matters. Even when you might think that it's not working, it is. And it's helping you to establish firm foundations. It's helping you to create the new boundaries that you are sort of constructing this new version of self with, and continuing to stick with that with determination. Whatever you are doing to nurture yourself will help you to keep that perseverance going, to put one foot in front of the other until one day you look up and you recognize that you have achieved what you have been working so diligently to achieve. And turquoise is a really good stone to use. And so if that calls to you, perhaps getting some turquoise, wearing that, carrying it with you on your person somehow. Turquoise can help assist navigating obstacles through life. It can enhance our energetic feelings of wholeness, of serenity, of balance. And it acts as a gateway that helps us connect in to both the heavens and the earthly realms. You know, it helps to give you that personal power from a vibratory perspective that helps you stay both completely grounded, but fluid and open to feel that deep connection with spirit that's also flowing to you. And so this is really also a card talking about working with that energetic flow that we were just talking about a little bit earlier in your reading, working with your energy in that way. So again, if it would be supportive, there is a free offering you can even test out to see if it feels like a vibrational match for you. Because I want others to really feel if it does feel right for them. But you can test out that first meditation, which is about creating personal energetic sovereignty. You can test out what that feels like. And if that feels good, maybe that is something that would help support you and working with your connections right now and moving your energy as you potentially move through some big changes in your world. And so the last thing I want to leave you with, Capricorn Risings, is that turquoise also is able to maintain a frequency. You're able to program turquoise. And so if there's something, my Capricorn Risings, that you are calling in for yourself, if there are alignments for yourself that you are working towards, even if it's calling yourself into a greater sense of personal alignment, calling yourself into a greater sense of intuitive clarity and intuitive knowing, potentially. Maybe you are opening up more deeply to your personal gifts and you're allowing yourself to be led in a way that helps you to share your light in a greater capacity with others, to be of service. Whatever this might be, turquoise can be programmed with some of your specific intentions that you're working to co-create and manifest with spirit. And so in that sense, you are able to work with this stone as well as something that can help you on your journey to kind of manifest you into a space, or help you co-create with spirit into a space that helps you bring in whatever these bigger intentions might be that you have going on for you right now. And that's all I have for now, my sweet Capricorn Risings. I send your heart so much love. It sounds like, if this reading is of any resonance, that it's been a time for you recently. And I relate. I do relate. And, you know, my channel is still new. So if you found this reading today to be supportive and nourishing, I would truly be grateful if you would like this video, if you would subscribe to my channel, share it maybe with anybody you think it might resonate with. I'd love to hear what's going on with your journey too. And if there's any specific questions you might have for the Marys, I always love to hear those, because that helps me to create new, beautiful videos for everyone. So I welcome any and all of that, and I thank you all for hanging out with me today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for trusting. I send you all so much love. Take good care. Until next time. Bye-bye.